In what is being called one of the biggest PR disasters for a media project in recent memory, the highly anticipated cooking show, Meghan's Majestic Menu, starring Meghan Markle, has been indefinitely suspended a mere week before its premiere. The show, which was set to stream on the Duchess of Sussex's new content platform Archetypes, has been shelved for an astounding 2 years following an unauthorized internal footage leak that has sparked widespread outrage from the celebrity guests involved. The controversy began when an edited, sizzle reel, compiling clips from the show's tapings began circulating among industry insiders last week. The shocking video depicted numerous instances of Markle rudely berating and demeaning her famous guests, many of whom are beloved chefs, entertainers, and cookbook authors. Seemingly unable to follow even basic recipes and cooking instructions, the former Suits actress is seen lashing out in crude tirades, insulting her guests' ancestral dishes and culinary backgrounds. "This is revolting. Did your people actually eat this slop?" Markle can be heard snapping at one visibly shaken guest chef, who had proudly presented a traditional family recipe. "It looks like something I wouldn't even feed to the royal corgis back at the palace." In another jarring scene, the Duchess is shown impatiently waving away a famous restaurateur brought in as a guest instructor. "Enough with the grandmother stories and ethnic proverbs, just show me how to not burn this stupid soufflé." Perhaps most disturbingly, Markle is seen pitching an absolute fit after one of her ill-prepared dishes is sampled by a respected food critic brought in for the episode's judging segment. After the critic recoils from the fork full of charred, inedible food, the raging host hurls an entire plate of incinerated, unidentifiable scraps directly at the panicked man's head in a profanity-laced tantrum. This is a complete and utter farce. "I knew this asinine little vanity project was doomed from the moment I arrived on set," Australian celebrity chef and former Meghan advocate Hayden Quinn ranted to awaiting reporters shortly after the leak surfaced. "That wretched woman has forever destroyed one of the most basic joys of life, the simple act of sharing food and bonding over family recipes with loved ones from different cultures." Her vile tantrums were traumatic to experience firsthand. Quinn, who had flown to the set from his hometown of Sydney, claims he directly witnessed Markle exhibiting appalling mistreatment towards nearly every guest that appeared throughout filming. While he refused to reveal any private details about how he was personally mistreated, the famous chef did allege that Meghan was constantly disrespecting and insulting everything from her guests' regional accents to their traditional ethnic garments and cooking equipment. "She behaved like an overgrown, spoiled mean girl possessed with airs of superiority over every single person attempting to promote and celebrate their cultural culinary roots," Quinn continued, seething with rage. Between her non-stop whinging about her status and incessant vulgar gob, not even the Dalai Lama could have maintained zen on that miserable set. We were truly dealing with a modern-day Midas touch personified. Unsurprisingly, nearly every celebrity guest featured on the shelved series has come forward expressing similar horror stories backed by embarrassing footage from the leaked sizzle reel. Among the most vocal detractors have been famous foodies like Ina Garten, Padma Lakshmi, Samin Nosrat, and even reality TV stars like the family Huxtable. Rhubarb? What sort of infernal swamp gremlin concoction was this supposed to be? You Americans truly do delight in consuming anything, regardless of how vile or unnatural. Meghan is caught sneering at a visibly shocked Huxtable family matriarch, after being served a rustic family rhubarb pie recipe spanning generations. "This is why I never wanted children, they're utterly useless at even the simplest tasks and chores," Markle also quipped to the terrified Huxtable children brought in as adorable set dressing for one of the episodes centered on family baking and desserts. "I'd have put you both up for royal adoption the moment you destroyed my kitchen like this travesty." Despite desperate attempts by representatives at Archetypes to contain the PR nightmare through issuing vehement denials and legal threats, the sheer volume of witnessed accounts corroborated by verified leaked footage proved too damning to ignore. The platform had no choice but to indefinitely postpone the show's premiere while conducting an internal investigation on how the embarrassing video first leaked in the first place. While I have tremendous admiration and respect for Meghan, what I witnessed on that set I can only describe as ungovernable narcissistic hunger mixed with mean-spirited gaslighting beyond anything I've experienced in decades of entertainment, said longtime Hollywood publicist Hugo Jeffries, whose clients were also featured guests on the disastrous project. Simply put, the way she treated people from all walks was downright traumatizing, as if no one outside her deluded realm of birthright privilege deserved the bare minimum of human decency and dignity. According to Jeffries, Markle had initially recruited many of the world's most acclaimed culinary artists and entertainers by spinning a fantasy, culinary celebration diversity cultural showcase that would allow guests to honor their ethnic backgrounds while whimsically bonding over food preparation with the Duchess. However, he alleges that warped vision rapidly disintegrated once cameras were rolling. It became immediately apparent this show's actual purpose was feeding Meghan's seemingly boundless need for obsequious glorification and self-aggrandizement as the supreme auteur, single-handedly elevating these guests through her withering judgment of their embarrassingly paltry ancestral recipes and customs, explained Jeffries. Any innocuous comments or notes about modernizing flavors or presentation styles instantly enraged her into destructive passive-aggressive humiliation focused on attacking their cultural authenticity and worth. It was the most shameless and counterproductive ethnic gaslighting I'd ever witnessed. Sources close to the project also believe an intense ego clash behind the scenes between Markle and the lauded but famously perfectionist director initially hired to helm the shattered production may have been the final tipping point culminating in the devastating leak. There were clearly huge conflicts and power struggles over creative control between Meghan's relentless diva instructions repeatedly contradicting the award-winning filmmaker's expertise on running an efficient, respectable set atmosphere fostering a collaborative spirit, one episode editor confided.